My background is actually, I worked for Disney, which is quite funny. Well, I worked for a licensee that had a huge Disney contract. So I worked with lots of different entertainment companies like Disney and Warner Brothers, and and what I used to do way back in the sort of 90s was product design. So I'm a product designer by trade. I trained in fashion and textiles. So initially I was a footwear designer. So I designed shoes, Disney shoes and all kinds of things. And then I moved into licensed consumer product. And what that is basically product like t-shirts and school bags and perfume and all of these things that are in the commercial market with branding. So that would be like, the image of Mickey Mouse or what have you. And I would try and find interesting ways to basically slap Mickey Mouse onto as many things as possible. I'm very interested in street art for social change. What I tend to do is try and link my work to be political in some way, and particularly I'm interested in women's rights and gender equality. I think art should really be for everyone, so the idea of taking art onto the street is really important. Street art is primarily a male-dominated domain, and that's really important to the work that I do because it's gender issues. So when I'm talking about some kind of thing like female genital mutilation, which is a violation of human rights, not a lot of people know exactly what that is, first of all. And by taking it out onto the street, what that does is that opens up a whole new possibility to inform people and to spread awareness, and obviously once you've spread awareness, have a call to action. One of the ways we can actually make change is to look at policy, government policy and things like this, and that's what I'm really interested as an artist, because if you just make a really nice piece of art and say, this is my political statement, if you're not speaking the right language or dealing with the right people, how can you actually then link the art to the politics? The first person we met was Petra Beyer, who is the chair of the subcommittee on development policy. So she was one of the founding members of the charity or NGO called Stop FGM. And we also met with Elizabeth Harkle, and she's the Minister for Arts and Culture. So it was really interesting to have these two women in the same room as us, to discuss the mixture of arts and politics. It's nothing new, obviously. This has happened in the past, over many years, that murals have quite often been quite political. And there was another lady there yesterday also who is director of the European Integration of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Gudrun Graf. And she is also really involved in lots of work in Africa. She's worked over there and seen what the effects are of female genital mutilation, and so it's a project very close to her heart. So between us all, we had this just amazing discussion, and it was very much how we could help each other and what kind of projects we could work on. So very exciting things in the pipeline. I'm really hoping that we're going to have some opportunities to work collaboratively with people without, again, working in a really sympathetic way with them, rather than just saying, hey, these are the victims. Part of my training that I've done in inclusive arts practice is to work with people in a really kind of informed and careful way, rather than just saying, pinpointing people, is to actually be really sympathetic to their role, their position in life, and to find ways of working with them so they can actually have their voice heard without all eyes necessarily being on them, so maybe they would work anonymously, but I've got lots of ideas through my training of how to work collaboratively with people like this. So that's really the most exciting thing. I was lucky enough to be part of Femme Fierce this year, which is an all-girl street art festival in London, and it's in the Banksy Tunnel, which is Leek Street. And this piece that I created that was not only child friendly but also quite shocking in its own way. And I think one of the really powerful things about this is we're using a blonde girl with blue eyes, because of course, you know, culturally, I think across, one of the main problems with female genital mutilation is we think that it has nothing to do with us in Europe. It's not part of our culture. You know, it's over there, it comes from Africa, it comes from other people. But actually it's a practice which is really happening a lot all over Europe. You know, in England, the statistics are there's 64,000 girls at risk per year. In Austria, it's a lot less. It's about 8,000 per year. But then when you add up all over Europe, you know, we're talking probably 200, 300,000 girls minimum. And that's really shocking. That's not a global figure. You know, global figures are in the millions. And the thing is, this practice has nothing. Lots of people are very scared of getting involved in saying and speaking out because they think it's cultural, because they think it's to do with religion. And actually, you know, it's neither of those, to be honest. It's about sort of patriarchy, it's about male domination, it's about money, it's about politics, because these girls are worth more money to be married if they have this procedure done. And of course, you know, I'm not going to go into any details of how horrific that is in this video, but yeah, so obviously FGM is one issue. We're talking about FGM today, it could be another issue tomorrow, and that's the way that I kind of like to work.